My name's Paul Andre Wilton and I'm the coordinator of the Conflict Community of Practice. We're a group within CARE that gets together and focuses on issues around conflict sensitivity and peace building. This is the third time we've met and we've been meeting for 4.5 days to consider questions such as how gender and peace building mix together, how we can act as a better group to advocate, and our goal is to talk and learn and share experiences with each other.
They are the domains of change.
Today we looked at conflict sensitivity in our programming and also in terms of mainstreaming the idea in our CARE offices. As a programming idea, we looked at how, when we implement projects, we can lead to tensions and conflicts.
The types of conflicts that came about in your work, either through the context or generated by your work.
Pastoralists, yeah? That's the same with Uganda.
Yeah. Crop farmers and pastoralists.
It's always a fight in terms of grazing land.
Yeah, I mean, offices already have like expat CDs and ACDs. What could be a response to
in itself? So that's what we do as well. So in the site selection, one of our prevention strategies is
Livelihood. Fish to go on the other side of the rock.
That's all. The fish this side.
For example, what we found was we went back into the communities in which we'd worked before where we were comfortable, but some of these things depend on people from neighbouring communities participating.
And that your programs support procedures have conflict sensitivity considerations in them as well.
We also looked at it in emergencies, some of the minimum standards that we should be attempting to have in our emergency programming.
And other countries in West Africa to come to Côte d'Ivoire and work. And what's happening is that during this period, we have the southern area of the country where we have
In the afternoon, we looked at how we can mainstream the idea of conflict sensitivity in CARE. We're going to break you up into, I think, 5 groups, so we're smaller numbers on each table. I'll give you a pack. We've got about 45. And we looked at a country office, and we looked at all the different areas within that office that should be affected by conflict sensitivity. We looked at HR policies, we looked at procurement, we looked at the institutional leadership and the institutional commitment to the idea, and how we can strengthen them.
Learning, management, and maybe these could be linked.
They are linked, but
at what stage?
yeah.
Oh my gosh, we've forgotten CI. Oh wow.
That's peace-centered.
this is like external and this is
Appropriate attitude, behaviors. I think this is
Is there anything in particular that you'll take back and change or implement, or some actions that you might have as a result?
Conflict sensitivity was indicated as something important in our country office learning plans, but the fire that needs to be lit onto that is what I need to take back from this training, and to really try and mainstream it across the board with all our programming and understanding and getting, I suppose, people not just to understand the language and the rhetoric that we're saying, but to put this into practice and to have some tangible impacts at the end of it.
I've also learned how I can apply that in South Sudan, mainstreaming conflict sensitivity. South Sudan, as you all know, have been in conflict for the last 60 years. And whatever we do in Sudan, South Sudan, is within the context of conflicts.
For the training, I was focused on Sri Lanka. I was in the Sri Lanka team. All of that was new, and all of that was very interesting, and it was also nice to hear that they'd been particularly commended by a donor, for being a good example of a conflict sensitivity.
I've been working on conflict sensitivity mainstreaming for almost 2 years now, but today, with a whole group and different CARE country offices, I've learned about so many examples of how people have worked on this, and I realized that this has been an amazing learning experience.
One of the actions that we want to come out of this workshop is an understanding of how we can collaborate better together. So we're looking to form working groups or task forces to take forward particular initiatives in conflict sensitivity and peace building. But we also have an online space, a wiki, where people can post documents. But they can also learn from each other in more active ways. We have discussion boards, we have online meetings where people can meet and discuss some of their latest initiatives. We've experimented with online trainings as well, where people can pose particular questions to members with more experience in the area than them. We'd like it to be open to many more members of CARE.
We are having an extended program learning meeting in January where most of the program managers come. So I feel it should be on the agenda. I'm going to lobby to include a brief on CCP to that meeting so that we can have further discussions from there on.
The processes that have happened since?
It's very, very good. I'm living in a country where there is no access to learning materials, to reading materials. There's no access to other stakeholders that are really in the business of conflict programming. Through the CCP, I think I'm better positioned now to help our local partners.
The family of CCP will be, growing and growing. So one day we'll be in a position to mainstream conflict sensitivity in all CARES program.
Yeah. It's a great opportunity for you to encourage your staff, or even to join yourself, to join this email group and to access our wiki space and see what is on that space for you to help you in your jobs.
It's a win. It's a win. All right.
That we continue to understand.
Bigger political conflicts in this country.
Oh, that's what you're saying?
Putting that at the centre of your program.
Facilitated by means by the government. This, whatever we do, has